Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, my beautiful hot messes. My name is Mistress Lavender, and today I'll be reading Rich AF by Vivian 2. I'm on page 50 where we left off, but if you don't know who I am, make sure you first like, comment, and subscribe. And if you do, let's begin. We're starting at having a network on page 50. Having a network is especially important if you're looking to switch industries or otherwise make a drastic career change. It's hard to get buy-in as a candidate if you've never done X or Y role before or never worked in Z industry. But if someone internally can speak to how awesome you are, they can stand over that rough edge. How do you think I went from finance to media? My OG mentor vouched for me, and her best friend ended up becoming my very first manager at BuzzFeed. There's this idea that networking has to be this weird, corny, cringy thing, or that it's something that only tryhards do, or that you only need to do it when you're actively looking for a new job. False. At least for the way rich people do it. They see networking as expected at every position and every stage of a career. It's a mutual activity with something in it for everyone. And it's really only weird if you make it weird. The easiest way to start is to get to know people you already work with. Make the rounds in other departments, introduce yourself, understand who's who around the office beyond who you interact with as part of your role. Learn about what they're working on, maybe even to see if you can help. Then, when a sweet internal position opens up in, say, sales, and you already know Lindsay in sales and happen to know that she's trying to expand the company's reach into a new territory, you not only have a personal rapport, but a specific thing you can share ideas on if you apply for the job. More generally, you just want to be open, especially to recruiters. These are people whose entire job is just finding candidates for open positions at companies. They are literally professional networkers. If you're a ways into your career, you might get emails from headhunters already, but if not, you can still get them in your orbit. Are there industry networking events near you? There's a breeding ground there's a breeding ground for eager recruiters. So hit one up and bring business cards. Did your current job just hire someone new on a recruiter's recommendation? Subtly stalk that recruiter firm and maybe send them a note on LinkedIn. Speaking of LinkedIn, it has a feature that lets you basically raise a little invisible flag that says, "Hey, I could be interested in a new job. What you got?" So do that too while you're at it. Then, when recruiters do reach out, talk to them. You don't have to take the job or even apply for it. You can just gather info on what skills are in demand and what the going rate for certain jobs is. Plus, one recruiter can work for multiple companies. And once they get to know you, they're much more likely to hit you up for an opening down the end. Personally, I have done this my whole career. I consider it part of my job to network like this. While I was at JP Morgan and while I was at BuzzFeed, anytime a recruiter would hit me up, I would. Where am I? Oh, hit me up. I would set up a call. And let me be clear, my second to last year at BuzzFeed, I made 625,000. I was one of their top sellers and I got paid like it. I felt like I was being compensated incredibly fair. I loved every single person I worked with. And because I was bringing in monster deals, the company would bend over backwards to make their S work for me. And still, I would have to call with a recruiter around once a week. I was talking to Facebook, I was talking to Twitter, I was talking to TikTok, I was talking to everybody. Anybody who would talk to me, I would talk to them. The found the final aspect of networking is pure mindset. Always have one foot out the door at your job. That's not to say you shouldn't be giving 100% or that you can't love your boss, love your team, love everything about your work, but as rich people know, loyalty doesn't pay these days. Literally, according to Forbes, people who stayed with the company for more than 2 years on average ended up making up 50% less over the course of their entire life. Rich people know corporations are selfish, that they'll fire you in an instant if it's good for business. And figure, I'm fine. I'm going to be selfish too. I'm going to look out for number one. Is it more work to do this kind of networking? Yes, absolutely. But again, rich people embrace it because they're all about the delayed gratification and bigger payoff. If a little legwork now can double or triple their income in 5 to 10 years, they say, bring it on, because I know I'm worth it. Takeaway: who don't you know in your company? Go talk to them. Play it cool. Just a quick hi and want to put a name to a face kind of chat or email. Then go to your LinkedIn right now and turn on the little open to recruiters beacon. Also, make sure all your skills and job history are up to date. Three, three. Know when someplace sucks for you. Rich people may love to schmooze, but they're also not going to waste their time. If they're schmoozing at a brick wall, if they waste their time, they're schmoozing at a brick wall. If their job is giving major Nepo baby energy and they know the promotions are always going to go to the CEO's great nephew or secret mistress or whatever, they're going to bounce and find a job where they can cozy up to the people in power. As I learned from my time at JP Morgan and BuzzFeed, there are basically two kinds of workplaces. One where you can break in work laterally and fraternize your way into an inner circle, and ones where no matter how hard you pat yourself on the back, no matter how good you are, you're not going to be able to politic your way into a boys' club. To make those rich person moves, you need to be able to understand the difference. Are you working somewhere you can, with a little effort, improve your workplace social status and become not just a top performer, but a name brand, known performer? Or are you working somewhere you're stuck in a box with no ability to change how people perceive you? Fortunately, there's a lot you can pick up with about a company just on vibes alone. And if the vibes are off, it can take you from corporate bandy baddie girl corporate baddie to corporate saddy real quick. Here are some key green flags and red flags to look for at your job. Green flag: the criticism you get about your work product and your performance. Red flag: the criticism you get is about you, your personality, your entity, yourself. Ooh. Green flag: you're given resources to solve a problem when you ask for them. Red flag: you're told to figure it out and left to fend for yourself. Ooh. Green flag: expectations are clearly outlined. Whether or not they're ridiculous, at least having a benchmark in writing of what makes a good employee gives you a place to start. Red flag: expectations are question marks. What makes a good employee? What's the standard protocol for XYZ tasks? How are raises determined? No one knows. Green flag: you can look at upper management and think, yep, I love or be fine with that person's lifestyle or career. Red flag: you look up the ladder and see the people with the good jobs, high paying, fancy titles, whatever, are miserable. Green flag: generally some camaraderie around the team. People are willing to help each other even when it's not their job description. Red flag: we're a family here. Nope. Green flag: you don't have to look busy. There are clear expectations about your work, but no expectation that you stick around late or keep up status active 24/7 just for optics. Red flag: you're role playing a work sona 5 days a week, whether or not you have to work whether or not you have work to be doing. The expectation is that you're in your seat, active on Slack, or somehow on call. Green flag: people are, for the most part, welcoming. Your colleagues invite you to lunch with them, make pleasant water cooler chat, seem to care about knowing you as a person. Red flag: nobody seems to care who you are. There are no opportunities for you to chime in or mingle, or for even a redder flag, they're downright clicky. Green flag: when people get promoted, you think, oh, that makes sense. They're so good at what they do, and they've done X, Y, and Z for the company. Red flag: when people get promoted, you think, oh, that dude is now a vice president? For real? Again, Nepo baby energy equals bad news. Green flag: senior members of the team are invested in junior talent. They take the time to spend with more junior people generally and always have time for their direct reports. Red flag: it's so hi- hierarchical that junior employees shouldn't even look in the direction of the C suite. Green flag: everybody on the team generally likes the person in charge. Red flag. Everybody on the team thinks the person in charge is an idiot. These are some things jumping off points. And honestly, you probably have a sense of where you are already simply by virtue by having worked there for a while. If you're in an environment where you recognize that you have no ability to politic your way upward, where your manager doesn't give a flying F about you, well, I have to be the one to say this, but you want to look for other jobs. Maybe internally, maybe externally, but you can't stay where you are and advance. On the other hand, as long as you're feeling positive about your chances if you work hard, don't just be that top performer. Make sure your manager knows and go out of your way to make their work easier. Having a manager who actually values you and understands how hard and smart you're working is literally a cheat code for your career. But this person can be your advocate only if one, they truly see how much you deserve it, and two, they know what you need. So do everything you can to kick A at your role. Hint, ask what you can do to make them look better to their boss. And then talk to your manager about your goals, your needs, your concerns. Ask them to help excuse me, ask them to help you get to know managers in other departments and become more connected across the wider net of the company. And definitely use your manager as a resource to make sure that you have an inroad with the LGBTQ plus employee resource group or the AAPI resource group or the Women's Network or whatever affinity groups, affinity, affinity? Affinity groups your company might offer. Your manager may not even be aware that you identify in that way, and they can't legally discriminate against you for disclosing that you're a member of a protected class. That said, I don't know your exact situation, so use discretion, especially if your boss is giving weird, discriminatory vibes. But then you should definitely be looking for a new job. Takeaway: Run your run your current job through the green/red flag checklist and proceed accordingly. Finally, realize that place isn't for you or and you need out. Good thing you've got the skills listed out and the network, right? Start looking for a new gig pronto. Feel pretty happy about your potential? Schedule a sit down with your manager to talk long term goals and maybe a pay raise. How to ask for more money. Imagine if I told you that you could get $5,000 more for just 2 hours of work. Yes, seriously. And no, this isn't a sales pitch to get you to join my skinny tea or essential oils pyramid scam. This is legit. It's 100% possible because that work is called negotiation. Negotiation can be so cringy and uncomfortable. I get it. Plenty of us, basically anyone who's not a straight white dude, have been socially conditioned to think that standing up for ourselves, driving a hard bargain, sticking to our guns, and so forth is unacceptable, rude, too much, extra, etc. Asking for more can make you feel like your skin is melting off your body. So it's no wonder most people don't do it. That's why I like to frame it in the terms for that hourly rate. Negotiating for a raise, including all of the pep work, is the conversation itself. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I'm on page 57. Don't even get mad at me, I only read 7 pages. I make it sound so long. But always remember that reading aloud is definitely way harder than reading in your head because there's some words you'd be like, I don't know. But anyways, I'm on page 57. I'm gonna start at that's why I like to frame it in the terms of hourly rate. But thank you so much for staying with me. Let me know if you got this book or let me know what book you're reading and put it down in the comments. But again, my name is Mistress Lavender. Thank you so much for coming to my reading session. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you next episode on page 57. Bye.